wake up in the morning and I greet the sun. Connected with this star is everyone. Infinite energy, pure white light. Your hearts are shimmering like the stars at night. One human mind, one human heart will heal up Mother Earth with this sacred art. Master of ceremonies, humble MC. I sing out the message that was given to me by ancient line of warriors traveling the galaxy. Mother Earth is bigger than the eye could see. We live on a valley like ants on a tree. This is all made up, an illusion to me. There is no poverty, just low paying jobs and low self-esteem. High interest loans, they call payday advances. If you don't have the money, they don't give you chances. Can't pay your rent, can't pay your bills. So much pressure, it'll give you chills. But I try to stay sane, buck to the brain. Thank you, happiness, you smell so sweet, taste like sugar cane. Everything is one, we're the people of the sun. Prophesize to come and share the wisdom of the masters. Don't call me preacher, don't call me pastor. I flow with the flow of a natural disaster, but stay as calm as a Toltec master. Sit meditating, infinite creating, waiting patiently for that next day to come. Where I wake up every morning and I greet the sun. Connected with the star is everyone. Infinite energy, pure white light. Your hearts are shimmering like the stars at night. One human mind, one human heart will heal up Mother Earth with the sacred art. Master of ceremonies, humble MC. I sing out the message that was given to me. Ancient line of warriors traveling the galaxy.
Rolling.
Yo. LA Natives Podcast.
Lost Aslan.
Native Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Make sure you guys comment in the videos. Join us in the chat. Call us in 626-596-1033. 1033.
Absolutely.
626-596-1033. Call in. Join
who
the
are the
live
early
chat.
birds in the chat?
Super early birds. Native
Got
kids.
the native kids.
Native kids. Shout out native kids. Who else? That's it?
It's about to get there.
All right.
Let's go. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. It helps the channel.
I think next show, and this is just for the record, for the replay people, next show, the first 13 chat people, they have to be different people from the chat. They'll get a free smoothie. If you live in Los Angeles and you listen to the show, come to the show. It's time to give now. We're at the point of giving. And now it's time to spread that energy that we have there at Malinali Superfoods, 4528 Whittier Boulevard. East Los, in the heart of East Los, historical Whittier Boulevard, home of the lowriders, home of Ruben Salazar. We will always remember him. We will remember his. And if you don't know who Ruben Salazar is, get some homework, because we're going to give away shirts. We're going to give away tickets to events. We're going to give away food. We're going to give away smoothies. We're going to give away nutrition. So let's keep those names in our hearts, those heroes. Ruben Salazar. And maybe a question will be, who was he? And, where did he cross over to the next space? If someone knows that, put it in the chat. You know what I mean? And then we'll decide on what we're going to give you, because now it's time to give. We built. The Teocalli is built. Now, look at the warriors that are around me, man. Gonzalo, what's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Thank you for coming up again, dude.
Thank you for inviting me again, man. Appreciate it.
No, man, you have a lot of good wisdom, and you were sharing some things when you came to the store today, and I felt like it was relevant. Today, we will not be having Daniel, but shout out to Daniel. He's a brother.
Daniel.
What's up, Daniel?
Yep.
We got listeners and viewers who want him to open up his own channel.
Yeah, he should. He should.
He's got knowledge. He's got a lot of knowledge.
The brother knows what's up. He knows what's up. Maybe I can help him do that.
Shout out the brother Big D, keeping it real. He said, sending mines from Whittier and Boyle Heights.
Oh,
Puro
oh.
Chicanos.
What up? Shout out
Hey.
Uptown Whittier. That's where I'm at.
what I'm talking about.
Boyle Heights.
Let's connect, Big D. I'm in Uptown.
You got to remember, man, this is all one family here. The more we get to know in terms of where you are, you can be as far as Canada. We go to Canada. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Vancouver. Shout out to HK. Shout out to Cuautli. Shout out to
Kansas City,
Yeah,
Kansas
Kansas
City.
City.
Utah,
Colorado. Remember we had the
Colorado.
So this is-
Texas. Other people in Texas.
Let's make it clear, LA natives will represent and always represent the entirety of Turtle Island. It's cool that we get to live on the coast and we get to live by the beach and we get to live by place where, it's pretty much heaven. It's not an easy heaven to live in, but I mean, for me, it's heaven when I get to see the sunshine the way I do. Because I went to Canada, bro, and it was not that way. It was just not that way, bro.
Was it cold?
It was fucking 40 degrees the whole time we were there.
That's cold for us.
And that's
pretty
freezing
cold.
for us.
Fuck, yeah.
And it was kind of sprinkly for the first
Gloomy?
couple of days. And gloomy. Like no sun. Like today.
Overcast.
Yeah, like that. And I asked the guys out there, I was like, hey, so when does it get like sunny? And he's like, oh man, he put it in perspective. He's all, we live in a rainforest. So it's never gonna get like
You never see it.
So-
you'll never see it that way.
Did you see a lot of white people over there? Because I heard in
Oh,
Canada
my
there's a
God.
lot of white people.
Dude, it was it was the first time that I went there and I got culture shocked. Like I was like, whoa, this is like, it was either Asian or Indian and then, some natives, but nothing like what I'm used to. I live in the heart of Los Aslan, bro, like East Los Angeles, bro. Like I get to go for different cities and I still see Mexican people. You know what I mean? Over there, it's
I
like,
didn't mean it like that because, like, when I went to Eugene, Oregon, I walked into a Mexican restaurant and I was the only Mexican there.
but it was that. There were some pockets, little pockets, maybe. Like we were talking to people from El Salvador, like if there was lots of people there that were Mexican or from, like what we got here, like, oh, you're from Guatemala, or you're from El Salvador, or you're from Mexico. There's so much diversity of our own people here, and we have such a large population. But when I went there, it was definitely what Armando said. There's a lot of colonials, a lot of Europeans, and then there was the first time I've ever ate seal, I didn't eat a lot. I just tasted it. I had to.
How was it?
I had to. Okay. It was a rib side of it. It was 1,000 pounds. And it tasted like meat with no fat and had the texture of fish.
And how was it prepared? Like, what did you?
On the barbecue. They barbecued it.
Any kind of salsa?
No.
Nothing. Just
No, it was just raw, like salt.
Now,
and
did
whatever.
you ask how it was caught? Was
Yeah,
it
they
caught in the
hunted
wild?
it. They hunted it.
It was a wild seal.
It was a wild. I think it was a sea lion, and it was 1,000 pounds, and they processed it, and the lady was cool. I wish I could remember her name. I'm so bad with names. So if I ever meet you, it's not that I don't know your name. I'm just very bad with names. Anyways, but the experience was that she said, well, we processed this 1,000 pound sea lion and it's going to feed us for the whole year. And so her goal was cool. Like she's all, I want to do this. And, because we know how to do this and we should be able to preserve it. It's more than just like saying we used to do it. It's like actually doing it and pickling it and now making stews from it. And that's what we're talking about here in LA Natives. Don't let this society or these colonials think that they can keep you from living that way. I'm not saying that we're gonna go hunt down a fucking 1,000 pound sea lion, but we can grow spirulina in our home. We can grow plants. We can grow things that sustain ourselves in such a way that we don't need grocery stores. We need to start moving in that direction because the bigger picture, what's happening in campuses all over Turtle Island, what the focus of what's happening on the globe, we need to be in that state. Because they control us through these things. They're setting everything up, and we were talking about, me and Aurelio were talking about how they're going towards the metaverse. Mm-hmm. But to go towards the metaverse, you have to shut down the actual physical stores. So they're moving everybody into like an Amazon-based style. Like, no one's going to want to go to Target anymore.
No one's gonna want to leave their house.
No, they're going to put on their goggles, and then they're going to go to Target by sitting in their couch. And then they're going to go, and they're going to go, oh, I wonder what this shirt looks like. And they're going to go like this, and the shirt's going to be on them, and they're going to be able to turn around and act like it. They're getting rid of stores. And to do that, you have to go, well,
so then what are they going to do with all the real estate?
they're trying to make smart cities. So they're trying to cram everyone from the rural areas
apartments
into one city.
More apartments and
Right. More apartments, more space for people to be housed in. So but okay, I say that and then everybody thinks, oh, tomorrow it's going to be like, no, it's not going to be like that. It takes 20 years, it takes 30 years. And sometimes when they start going down an agenda, it starts fucking up and dissolving because.
And at this point, every new apartment complex is being built in and around LA. They're luxury apartments, right? Like you can't even second guess it. And just entry level, is $3K a month for a one bedroom.
Yeah, there's individual who was running for city council for East Los Angeles, and they were trying to oppose people buying up blocks because they were going to put like storefronts on the bottom and then the apartments on the top, and they were going to have some affordable housing.
well, technically they're supposed to. All new
know about
buildings
that?
that come up, there's got to be. I don't know the exact number, but there's a percentage of housing in that building that has to be for low income.
Right, but it's not a lot.
No, it's a small number. It's not a big number.
and not everybody's going to qualify. And
there's a long list
so
of that.
It's kind of like think about the transition from destroying stores and not having stores. It's not a 5-year plan. It's not. It's more like a 20-year. They got what they're putting out now is for your kids. Your kids will. One day you'll be, 70 years old and you're like, I'm going to go to the swap meet still and buy my shirt. And they're going to be like, Dad, Grandpa, you're so old school. You actually go and try the clothes on. Look, you could do this now. And then they show them, look, on the TV, look, this is the way it works now, Grandpa. Why do you have to go to the swap meet? And this is a 20, 30-year plan.
No, but that's a good point because everything right now is targeted towards children.
Right. But
children that are being
slowly, but and here's how you do that. You do that by going, anything less than $1,000 is cool. You could steal that. And then boom, they start hitting the stores. Poor kids start hitting those stores. The stores go, oh my God, they're stealing from us. We got to close it down. Come on, dude.
I see that happening
a mile away.
Look, how corrupt California is. It's apparently so tech savvy. This whole $20 an hour thing for fast food workers, right? I think it completely backfired on people because that's their way to implement AI and to start replacing people that would necessarily work the front cashiers, the drive-thrus is all AI now.
Right. Mm-hmm. But AI sucks. Right. I'm not bought on
the
AI.
The other day I was in Rancho Cucamonga. I went up to a Wendy's and I was shocked because the drive-thru was a complete AI.
Oh wow.
Talking to you.
Wow.
And the Panera breads that are out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to all the people who work in fast food that are getting paid a little bit more right now. But hey, time is ticking for them.
Well, I mean, it's not
right.
I
don't know.
It's not the 50s and the 40s anymore
because
you can't go work for McDonald's and still kind of skate by. It's not that time no more. We are so far behind in terms of the technology that they want to implement. But here's my thing. We look at all this stuff and we say, oh, wow, look at how advanced they are. And they almost got us down. But a lot of it sucks. The AI isn't that accurate. It's accurate in certain areas, but it's not super accurate. It's not where one person said they oversell the technology because it keeps you guessing. Like it almost submits you by just suggesting that it is. Mm-hmm. Here's a good example of that. When the CIA has interest in Hollywood, why would they have interest in Hollywood? To convince you that they do have a nuclear bomb this big, that they do have these poisons out there, right? Mm-hmm. And then they go, and it'll destroy the world. And that's like saying an ant in a forest of millions of trees, that these ants over here on this side are going to destroy the world. You're an ant. Remember that. A human is a tiny dot.
Yeah.
We got to gain perspective on those things. So, yes, as the cities get smaller, easier to control, easier to implement, easier to track. How much will, and this is 30 years down the line, but if we kick our feet up now and not work on our diet and not grow important foods that we need to grow, that's the next 10-year plan. What are the foods that we need to grow in our backyard that can grow abundantly, that if the grocery stores go down, I'm cool. I mean, I eat once a day strategically, spiritually, so that if I get in a position where I need to help weak people, and I mean people that just didn't concentrate on eating good food, their body is hurt or sick, we need to be at that space, because the destabilization of things is happening right in front of our eyes. Hence, what's happening in UCLA, USC, and now Cal State LA.
Cal State LA, Irvine, San Diego.
You see Irvine's cracking right now. Yeah, that's what I heard too.
They're destabilizing everything. They have to destabilize everything. They have to. It's a slow process. I mean, you don't think it's interesting that they say, oh, well, anything $1,000 or less is, you're not going to go to major jail or, right? Isn't that one of the laws?
It used to be 500.
Right.
They raised it to 1,000, yeah.
Right. And what is that going to do to poor kids in poor neighborhoods? Well, let's just go steal $500 worth of shit. Right?
Yeah.
But
It's
then
happening.
the consequence of that, guys, okay, so everybody's going to go, oh, wow, we should go do that. The consequence of that is that you now have put your life at risk for a racist police officer.
What does that sign say right there? It says Hamas using human shields is a war crime.
So the part that I'm talking about, they're trying to push everybody to the metaverse, is the fact that they're trying to push everybody to the virtual reality stuff. To keep you in your home, to distract you. Because real life happens. Look at the campuses there. Look at what's happening.
These don't look like students to me, though. They're like grown adults.
Yeah, they're adults there.
I mean, I have a hypothesis, and I don't want to get myself in too much trouble, by having an opinion. I guess nowadays you can have an opinion and get in trouble.
Ultimately,
or-
I think this.
Well, actually, all you have to do is just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
First. Before you say
Okay.
anything, you say
Well,
allegedly.
Allegedly, there was a pro-Israeli group that felt like it could attack a pro-Palestinian group.
The Zionists.
Allegedly, reportedly.
Well, what we did see is a group of individuals. We don't know who they were, right? Technically, we don't know who they are.
Right.
But we saw a group of individuals attacking an encampment, right?
And what do we mean by attacking? Let's be specific.
They showed up with intent. That's what you think.
So they used fireworks.
Fireworks.
They used actual
Sticks.
Well,
Their
they
fists.
started taking their umbrellas and they started using their umbrellas against them. Then they started taking the plywood and the barricades, and they just kept destroying.
Yo, this is raw right here, dude.
Look at that. Look at it. See?
Who are these dudes in all black? Are these the
We don't know.
pro-Israel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the pro-Israel guys. The guys that are
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Look at the pepper spray. See that shit? Look at bear spray. That's bear spray.
The guys in black had bear spray?
Somebody had bear spray.
And fireworks, right?
Yeah, they're throwing into the encampment.
Okay, so
That shit got wild.
Yo, is this really going to change anything, though, Zero?
look, let's not fool ourselves. And I'm you know what? I have to just speak my heart and my understanding. That was not protesters. That was military. So beware. Just be aware of what's happening and the destabilization of what's happening, because we're getting caught up with a whirlwind of emotion.
They caught one of them right here, dude. See that?
I mean,
They were chasing him down.
let me ask you.
He looks like a Jewish dude to me.
Gonzalo, you've been around, you know, how the police are with people of color.
Yeah.
If we were to shoot fireworks into a crowd of people, how would police treat people of color?
Oh no, I think you're asking me if it was the group were black or brown that came in there with intent to incite a riot, basically. If there was a group of black or brown, yeah, they would come in with.
How many fireworks do you think we would get off? Maybe one, maybe two, maybe not even one.
Maybe not even one.
Yeah, right. Because
if they knew, the media knew, the police department knew, the UCLA staff, they all knew that there was agitators coming. They've been coming. The students have been attacked. This is not new. This has been going on for a few days, right? So they knew. They stood for 3-4 hours. They stood by as these agitators attacked the encampment. Look at that. And the police department was right outside. There was private security that was hired by UCLA. They were also stationed right next to the whole encampment, and they did nothing.
Okay.
Private security is hired by UCLA only to protect private property.
okay.
Property over a person. That's what they do, private security.
So then there was no intervention from. Look, what we're going to do is an exercise of critical thinking. We can't go, oh, they didn't do nothing. Why were these people in stalemate while people were getting hurt?
You want to know why?
Why?
Well, state or the college where they're at, the university, it's the jurisdiction of the state. So that's the CHP. So they have jurisdiction. You know, LAPD can come in, any department, any law enforcement officer, they swore an oath. So any law enforcement officer can go into any situation that needs help, and
That are violent, right? Anything with violence, anything that it has like a
threatening
a
people's
stick,
life, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
explosives that
that's what
have
happened.
color in it.
That's what happened. The state showed up with the CHP. So they can argue, and they're probably going to make the case that, oh, well, we weren't prepared. It takes time to stage all these officers.
Look, if it's staged, let me ask you something. If I went over there and dropped off a pallet of guns, full of guns,
Yeah.
you think the sides would go and grab them and start using them?
who?
Just the crowd. Just
Yes,
doesn't matter any
absolutely.
side as of right now.
Absolutely,
I think that's the extreme. I don't think somebody would do that.
absolutely.
But you know what? There is people.
Because if it's a true protest, they would. If not, it would be all fake.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that. And what Armando said is, if someone had dropped a box or a semi truck full of guns or knives, would the protesters
Guns, no. Bricks, yes.
Would the protesters
Bricks for sure.
Would the protesters have no? What about guns? What if they parked a truck full of guns?
I'm thinking,
Do you think the guys in black would grab those guns, go into the crowd, and start?
I don't think they would have done it.
No?
Because now, and I'm judging them because of the type of people that they are now, you know? If, like this guy said, like Mando said, if they were real protesters, yes, they would have picked them up. But these fools are not down. They're not.
Wait, who's not down?
These fools in black, these fools,
Okay.
these agitators, they're not really down. They're there to play the part. They're there to do a job. And that job only includes threats of violence, but it doesn't include death. So if you were to give
Good
them
point.
guns,
Good point.
they're not going to do that. But if you
Good
did
point.
drop off bricks, believe you,
They would
pick
use
them
it.
up and throw them. For sure.
Right. Good point. I like that. That's a good point. I didn't see that. I thought that maybe both sides would go to a point where they whirlwind out of control, and maybe pro-Palestinian side, maybe pro-Israeli side would make the decision to go into a violent state of, because it's available.
I think you can't count it out. I think this is a high emotion situation for both sides, and when there's a lot of emotions and anger and hatred involved, like as you can tell, that's hard to say. All it takes
volatile.
is one person.
It's volatile when it gets to
No,
that
no.
point.
See, that's the thing. It just takes one shot.
That's all it takes is just one person to pick
One
up that
shot
gun.
to pick up that gun.
Yeah.
And now everybody's running towards it.
And then you have people that
grabbing
go
it and
that are
using
just that just like to create chaos. I mean, we saw it during the George Floyd protest. People, just use any reason just to create.
Honestly,
chaos.
this reminds me of the street takeovers.
And
How?
Just the way they run around, the way they move. I don't know, dude. Just because you could tell all those people who go to the street takeovers, they're not with it. You know, they're just there to see something on social media.
Mondo, newsflash, a lot of people are not,
with it. Yep.
Common sense.
But
is not
look,
that common.
these agitators wearing all black, waving around the Jewish flag, they're plants.
Yes, they had an intention. They had an intention to be there.
okay, but let's pull back before we go. Okay, they're plants. We already know that people in higher places are trying to change the narrative that what's happening in that region of Mother Earth, you know, where all the destruction and the killing of children is happening, that region that's happening. I'm not even going to say the name because it's not about name. It's not about country. It's not about that. Humanity is reacting to the death of innocent people and children. That's what's happening. The emotional, I have a stick and I'm going to hit you because I believe this side and that side, is the reaction that's coming from the earth, inspiring these people to defend this. I've said this many times on the podcast. The Huicholes were very clear, and the Huicholes are the people of Wirikuta. They're very connected to Mother Earth. They're the keepers of the sacred plant, the hikuri plant. They said, we are with her, not us defending her, right? We can't defend. That's like the ant telling, I'm going to defend this forest against what? The jaguar, the elephant that could smash you? There are other forces at play. But let's take this one and dissect that they're trying to change the narrative that that's a bad thing that's happening in this region. So what's best way to do that? By creating this kind of hoopla, right? And really violent situation, you know, so that they're hoping that the pro-Palestine side just says, fuck it. We're like, you know, we have to, you know, that's what this is.
That's what they're hoping for.
They're
but
hoping.
We got to give credit to the students, to the encampment, because they restrained a lot, man. There was moments where they could have actually been the aggressors, you know?
That's what I'm talking about.
So
That's why they're doing it. They're pushing that. They're like, it's like somebody pushing you, a bully's going. And then when the peaceful side reacts, then the government goes,
Look, you see, that's what we need to do.
yes.
They're baiting
Then
them,
the ads are going to come out.
Baiting.
Ads are going to come out. Pro-hatred towards Israeli, whatever.
Well, the news media is already trying to paint
And
it
we
that
got to
way.
figure out different names. Different names. They're not the L's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not that. And that's not the L over there. That's just a region of Mother Earth because we all live on Mother Earth as a family. And how dare another people, Russian, European, Arab, how dare you threaten the family of Mother Earth? You're on the wrong fucking side. You got to think that way. And be prepared. The comfort time of things being comfortable is kind of going away. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Now we got to spend more time at work because everything costs more. Right? It's going away, but we are brilliant people. We come from sophisticated math, spirituality, and art. It's far more powerful than the art that they're talking about. I'm not talking about the art that those people brought or what they think is art. Art is a math calculation. It's a scientific experiment. It's an observation of nature. That's what art is. It's an expression of many, many lives that lived long ago. They come through us, through our blood. And those are the tools that we use to fight these things. Because the emotional stuff, they instigate. They want you out of control. They want you to be like, oh, fuck it. Fuck this dude. He can't hit me with the stick. And then boom, there are cameras there ready for you to go, look, see, this guy hit the pro rated, the pro, whatever we call them.
Well, a few days ago, I was watching the news, and I hardly watch the news, but this stupid little clip pissed me off. They said that the reporter said that the pro-Israeli was just there to talk. They just wanted to talk. Like, why would you go to an encampment that's pro-Palestinian as a Jewish group just to talk?
But they do it in a very different way. They go, pro-Israeli group went to talk to the people of Palestine. And then they do it like in a subliminal way where you're just like going, oh, wow, they were just there to talk.
Yeah.
It's not like they're saying it like they start off with that stuff. And that's what critical thinking is. Critical thinking is understanding how things are being broken down to you. None of what we're saying here is to judge anyone, is to harm anyone, or is to make any group feel bad.
That looks like a big Jewish dude to me.
We're not violent people.
What does that flag mean right there? What does that mean?
Kosher?
No, it says Moshi.
But we were talking
So
about
clearly, this is the pro-Israel side.
The ones on the outside, yes.
Yeah.
Outside of the encampment, yes.
The ones with the masks and wearing all black.
Yes. The students were inside the encampment, but there were certain students that were out there trying to protect certain things, and there was moments where they could have swung on these fools, but they chose not to. So I was watching it live. I'm like, damn, these fools are showing some restraint.
Doris in the chat, she's like, they look like cops to me.
Hey, allegedly.
Look, these individuals have tactics. They got better at oppressing people. They didn't get worse. Just because we got schools and Burger King and malls, they said, well, we got to pacify them. And now they're saying, fuck that. And that's not going to exist anymore. You're going to go into the metaverse and you're going to fucking live in an apartment and you're going to go straight to work and go straight back to your apartment and get on the metaverse. And that's how you buy your shit. And that's how you watch your movies. And that's how you fucking buy your clothes. And that's how you buy your groceries. This is 30 years from now. This is the seed of the 30 years. This is it right here. How are we going to react to what they planted? How are we going to critically think at every move? Because it's not just being passive. It's not just, I could take the chingazos. Nah, that's not it either. How come we can't be water? Right? How come we have to be sitting ducks for people to come and hit us with sticks and you know what I mean? And harm us? That's not intelligent. I want to rephrase that. I take that back. I'm not trying to judge.
It's a strategy, man. It is a strategy.
But what I'm saying is that, did the strategy work for Vietnam? Did the strategy work for Iraq? It's the same loop every 15, 20 years.
Zero, you are predicting it right here. Check it out. 2 weeks ago, Walmart announces flight delivery.
There you go. This is what they want.
This is what they want.
This is what they want.
What if you live in an apartment? How do they deliver that to you?
Then they're going to put it down a tube, and that tube's going to go to a general area, and you're going to find your package there.
It's going to be like big receptor on the roof.
Dude,
with one of those like chutes to each apartment?
Maybe. I don't know about each apartment, because they're not that smart, is what I'm trying to say. They're trying to be above the earth. This is the push, okay? The push is we are above the earth. We know better for humanity. Not once have our ancestors said, we know more than the earth. I don't ever recall in native culture and native people and anybody that talked about anybody great in our culture, they never said that the person that's talking is greater than the earth. These people say, nah, these people need to live over there and they need to eat like this. And guess what? They can't go to malls anymore. It sounds like a plan. a new plan that has order to it.
It's the New World Order. That's what it is.
Yeah. So come on, let's think about this. I've been reading William Cooper since 1994. That's the author of Behold the Pale Horse. If you don't know what Behold the Pale Horse is, you need to go read that book. It's an audiobook. Again, all we are and all we have is the right to defend our life with whatever means of knowledge that we can get. So we're not trying to say that we know that people put plans together to control populations and things of that nature. The next 10 years, we're going to talk about this. The next 5 years, we're going to talk about that. This time, like, I knew that this was starting to happen when it was weird to hear about the CEOs, like the major CEOs of all companies left. Like, what was it, 4 years ago? No.
I started retiring.
Yeah, when everybody started leaving, all the top CEOs of all the companies, the major companies started leaving the United States. They were resigning and leaving. I was like, that's kind of weird. Why all at the same time? And then COVID hit, and you know, it's all a plan. It's all a plan. Now, are you going to be aware? Are you going to be, because we can all go, oh, we're going to all be rushed into this one thing. But if you have a different diet, if you have a different perspective, if you have a different religion, if you have a different understanding, if you are a hiker and you know how to hike for 3 days in the mountains, and these are the things that we need to be getting into, not who's winning.
Here's another
the
one.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake fucking battle.
Exactly. While everyone's pretending that the Kendrick Lamar and the Drake battle is such a big deal, they're rolling out Waymo vehicles in LA. They're eliminating all Uber and Lyft drivers. Now you could request a Waymo and it'll just come to your door, pick you up, and it's driverless. There's no human beings in these damn vehicles.
You see?
And it's already out right now.
Right.
We can order one right now?
Yeah.
Serio.
It's piloted right now, right? No, it's like fully on.
It's fully autonomous.
Right. But Uber can still work and Lyft can still work still.
Oh, of course.
They're saying that in 10 years, Uber
that
and
might
Lyft
take over. Yes. Not
Uber
right
and
now.
Lyft. That's what I'm saying.
Time is ticking.
That's what I'm saying.
Talking about that long period. 30 years from now.
Dude, that's what they do.
Who's going to clean these cars, though? Right?
It's going to be some kind of work done. You guys ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Yeah. Wall-E, yeah. No, my kids love that movie. It's cool. It's a cool movie. I like it.
Mine too.
Because, you know, if we're...
Is it like a personal robot or some shit?
You know what? It's kind of it's in the realm of WALL-E. It's not the same as WALL-E, but remember that movie that Owen the brother. Oh fuck, what was it called? Idiocracy.
Yes, Idiocracy. Yes,
Idiocracy.
That was a crazy movie too.
That movie. If we and here's the funny thing about that movie. That movie was made like what, maybe 15, 20 years ago. Maybe around that
early
time.
2000s or maybe
early 2000s, right?
Maybe 20.
And the people in that movie were so stupid. They would make dumb decisions based on, you know, TV shows and things of that nature. And they wore a certain type of shoe.
Oh,
guess what kind of shirt?
I'll tell you.
Guess what kind of shoes they were wearing?
Do I get a milkshake if I win this?
I got you.
Crocs.
Yes. Crocs. 20 years from now Crocs they have a store at the mall.
Yeah. I saw, actually,
So-
you brought that up, I saw that the director was, when he was casting and getting ready for the shooting, he wanted a shoe that was weird as fuck. And he found the Croc brand and he told them, like, yo, I'll use them in this movie, you know?
Right.
And that's how Crocs actually blew up, because of that movie.
Wow.
Man, I was thinking about wearing Crocs this morning.
I'm wearing mine right now.
Same.
But
No, I'm not wearing Crocs.
I got my Crocs on right now.
I got some Trevas. The Trevas the hiking ones.
I got these right now.
Any viewer that wants to call in, 626-596-1033. Again, 626-596-1033. Ladies and gentlemen.
I encourage the community to express their emotions and their opinions on things that we all need to share our critical thinking. I'm sure Sky has a version Gonzalo has a version. Armando has a version. Everyone has a version of critical thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing mine. I've been studying this for a long time, and I'm seeing it happen. But as I see it happen, since I've been studying it for a long time, it hasn't fallen in the way that it said and it unfolded from the early studies. There have been some blockages, some pivots, some things that didn't make sense. And here it is. When we talk about star alignments, when we finished the 2012 rotation, because they said the shift was happening. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Gonzalo?
Yeah.
We would talk about that in El Vu, the 2012 shift. And we think, okay, cool, it just moved a second. No, dude, we're in like, what, 2012 to now is what? How many years?
12.
12 years. 12 years. We're 1 year away from a sacred year. This is what we need to know. We can't fall victim to violence. The violence that was shown just right now, that's just like boiling water evaporating into the air. Nothing was cooked in it, and the water was wasted. Not completely, because it evaporates into the atmosphere and recycles itself. Reconnecting in any way you can to observation of nature, to respect for water, and I mean a deep respect. Go put your hand in a running stream of water and you connect, whatever you say to yourself in that, that's going to be the shift that we're talking about. 12 years past 2012, we are very advanced. What people call downloads. Or we just get older and we get wiser and we implement better strategies and we don't take things so emotional, that we're in control, that we took responsibility for our life. And we were going to direct people in a good way. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And I know that's what you do, because you trying to, Gonzalo, he does in his way, he protects his people. Sky's learning how to do that. We have to be as best an example as we can. I told somebody earlier, I love my children. My children are always going to be in my heart. I love them. But when I'm around somebody who's younger than me, he's my son. That's the type of responsibility I have for my people. He's my son. He's not a friend. He helps me clean my shop. I mean, I appreciate him. We need to have that kind of appreciation for each other.
Absolutely.
And when we do that, the community becomes stronger. And then we start to figure out strategies to go, how can we take this very intense energy and create art from it? Profound art. Art that doesn't make you feel bad about even being pro is whatever's. Art that changes people's lives. And I'm not talking about paintings. I'm talking about the inner creativity that everyone has deep in their heart, in their soul. It's not a hopeless, what can I do? It's how can I be creative? What can I be creative in doing to let my heart be known? And when groups start doing it together, right now we're going, fuck it, we're going to take your putazos in the middle of this campus because we don't believe that people should be murdered and raped and killed and humiliated. And we get a chingadazo in the head, right? Mm-hmm. But what if we took that energy of taking the chingadazo and got a group of 10 people, or let's put it in the math that our ancestors understand, 13 or 20 collective minds, rotate them. Rotate them. They'll come up with ideas. Each heart has one. The goal is so that the media will take a picture of what you want to say. Instead of taking a putazo from someone who says, fuck you, have a wrong opinion. Creativity destroys oppression. Creativity. That's what we call art. It's creativity. We are master artists. Our legacy still stands in Mexico. And we still trying to chase it here in Las Taslan. But if we follow our heart, answers will come.
That's what it takes, though, man. It takes a lot of people to realize, we've done a lot of bad shit in our life, And I'm speaking for me personally. Like, the older I've gotten, the more I've realized, like, yeah, man, you got to have integrity. You got to have some self-respect, and Zero right here being, treating you like a son, that does something for not only for himself, but it might inspire something within you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it works both ways. When the community sees that you're being productive, that you're being honest, you have integrity, you're doing things with integrity, the community will see that. They'll see like, oh, this guy's doing it out of a good del corazón.
Right.
Le nace del corazón.
Right. And I want to pause right there in the corazón part, because even in physics, they may be able to explain the pump, but the emotion that comes from that region, right, is a powerful, powerful tool. It comes with your intent. But if you are doubting your intent, it's what they call weak, but it's still very powerful because it's still pumping. Erase the fog. It's fog that's keeping you from this very powerful source. That's all if you think that's what I'm doing, it's coming from this region. Like you said, from the corazón. I have no expectations of my life. I have no expectations of Malinali. I have no expectations for my music. I have no expectations for this podcast. All I can show you is my YOLO right here. That's all I can show you. That's it. Look at that, dude. Look at that.
Damn.
Yo, okay, so
We can't be
this
that.
guy's wearing hard hats. This guy just snatches her hard hat. He just runs off.
Yeah, you got to put a chin strap, man. Come
So
on.
the dudes that are hitting the...
That's a female right there, too.
Look at how many people are behind that wall trying to hold it in place. Ooh.
And these
But
are...
see, look at, they're getting frustrated and they have a pole and they're starting to hit back.
Ooh. Some do. Some did, I should say. Look at that. That's a student, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Young man. Very young man. Ooh.
Yep, those are Jewish kids.
Yeah.
What are those things called that they put on their head?
I'm interested, Armando. How are the newscasters describing this event? Like, can you put it on to where they're talking like that?
The attackers are being attacked. Oh, my God. That's the way they said it.
High alert, hoping violence does not erupt tonight like it did last night.
Yes, and it very much feels like these protesters are once again preparing for something tonight. You can see behind me the camp that's been set up, now growing to hundreds of people. They've been working on building up these barriers all day long. People have been dropping off supplies, but still nothing compared to what we saw out here last night. Today, students speaking out after a violent night on the UCLA campus.
Our community and those advocating for the humanity of Palestinian rights will not be intimidated.
Fights erupting at the UCLA campus late last night outside Royce Hall.
Don't do that to him.
The fighting started when counter-protesters arrived around 11 p.m. and continued into the early morning hours. Tear gas and fireworks all used in the fighting.
We could have died last night. It was extremely dangerous. And when police arrived, they did not do anything. They did not do anything to protect us. They did not do anything to stop them from being more aggressive and continuing to assault people.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News that since UCLA has its own full-fledged police department and dispatch center, LAPD and CHP do not have jurisdiction over UCLA. The delay was due to UCLA and its police department not authorizing a response. Over 2 hours after the attacks began, police are seen breaking up the fighting and moving people away from the encampment. Today, the UC president ordering an independent review, saying in part, "My office has..."
There it is. It's just it's.
They were very neutral. You saw that?
You know,
They're
this is
super neutral.
This is reminding me of a movie I saw on Prime. It was about the White Rabbit or something like that. It was about COVID, and what they would do is they would have a situation happen, and then really smart people would go in a room and go, "All right, everyone, give me an idea of what to say right here. All right, good, we're gonna run with that one." And then they just come up with like a brainstorm of. That's what that shit sounded like. Like somebody's brainstorm, and this is the way we're gonna describe it.
That was security just standing around doing nothing, right?
Like. Someone tell me, how can we explain cops standing around? Tell me, who can tell me?
Here's another one. Here's another
A
one.
Fox News alert happening right now. The LAPD is moving in on the UCLA campus after anti-Israel protests turned violent overnight. Brawls between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel protesters erupting throughout the campus. You are watching.
She said anti-Israel.
She said brawls between two.
Yeah.
She said brawls between anti-Israel. That's not what they're pro-Palestinian. They're not anti-Israel. They're pro-Palestinian.
And it takes away the whole purpose
Critical
of why they're there.
thinking. This is how we do critical thinking.
That's a signature move from Fox, though, right? Because they're apparently right wing, so they're pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel.
But to say that, those guys that are they're already saying, we want you out of Israel. That might be the case for some. But I think what we're saying, and this is what happens when we let motherfuckers talk for us.
On West Coast campuses overnight. Lucas Tomlinson here with the very latest. Lucas.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. Violence erupting on the campus of UCLA overnight. Local reports say this began when hundreds of pro-Israel supporters took on the anti-Israel protesters and tried to dismantle their encampment. Let's take a look at the video here. You see flashbangs. You see signs of pepper spray, fireworks being set off. There are some reports that ambulances arrived on scene. You see a motorcycle there. We have just received this statement from LA's Deputy Mayor of Communications, who says, quote, "The mayor has spoken to Chancellor Block and Chief Choi. LAPD is responding immediately to Chancellor Block's request for support on campus." As you mentioned, we've been told riot police have just arrived on the campus of UCLA. People are wondering why they feel so helpless on the campus and why the police didn't arrive sooner, because the violence has been taking place for hours, Todd and Carly. Our colleagues at Fox 11 LA show what appear to be private security officers standing around watching the chaos. Here's how one witness described it.
There's people getting hurt. There are people getting injured, and the police officers left their post. They were here, they left. The security has abandoned this encampment, this riot. Okay, you hung up on me. I called earlier, and you hung up on me. So, you just hung up on me again. I came down here to see what's going on, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I'm looking at people.
That's the problem.
Violence.
Right there.
Look at this stuff.
You can't believe.
On
You're not
campus.
supposed to believe.
We've just received this statement.
You're not supposed to believe. You can't go, "I can't believe they're hurting me." They have guns. Even the other people. I can't believe. What do you mean you can't? They have fucking sticks in their hands. You think the cop's gonna go in the way so that you don't get hit by a stick by some other? They do this all the time.
Yeah, but the media, you can tell they were very neutral as far as not blaming. But they
were not neutral. When you say anti-Israel,
right.
when you say anti-Israel, that's already saying the violent people.
Yeah, you're right.
You're saying Hamas. You're saying, those are Hamas.
So the definition of Zionism, the primary goal of a Zionist movement
There was
to establish the basis for a Jewish homeland in Palestine and thereafter to consolidate it. That's exactly what's going on right now.
Okay, but what I've heard Palestinians say is that we don't care if you're here, just live with us peacefully. We don't care if you're here, just live with us peacefully. And then the other side goes, well, fuck it, but we want to have all the rules, and we want to tell you how to live, and we want to tell you, and this is where you can live, and this is where you can live, and this is where you can live, you know? Like, come on, bro. Yeah. That's exactly, I'm sorry about that. I used you as an example, but I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And you can't, no matter what media campaign, and that's what the point of what me bringing up that movie is, because there came a point where they ran out of ideas. Things weren't as, they get very arrogant with things, and they go, oh, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
Mando, what's the definition of manifest destiny? Right? It's the same thing, right?
Yes.
The 19th century doctrine or belief that the expansion of the U.S. throughout the American continents was both justified and inevitable.
That's pretty whitewashed.
It is, huh?
That's very whitewashed.
And very general. Yeah. No, that was exactly what's happening in the region of Mother Earth.
The 19th century doctrine?
Yeah, that's funny that they say it the way, like they're trying to like...
Or belief that the expansion of the U.S. throughout the American continents
Google's a trip.
was both justified and inevitable.
They're trying to detach it from, like, there's at no fault, right?
Right.
The U.S. has no fault at this at all.
And pretty soon we're going to do a Google search and we're going to go, hey, Google, what's slavery? A voluntary group of Africans who joined the willingly and lovingly. You know, that's what's going to be Google in the future.
That's a trip. They're just cleaning up their image, you know?
Yeah.
It's a PR campaign.
What do you feel manifest destiny should be defined as on Google?
What do I feel?
How should it be described?
Originally, didn't they say something like the right to rule over others? Because that definition that you found right now is not the one I've seen years ago, you know? Like you can look on a real dictionary and it'll give you a different definition, because that was pretty whitewashed. That was very
It was
PR.
Google written. It was written by Google.
Very PR.
Oh, it says right here, definitions from Oxford University.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Really?
Read that one. That's the one?
No,
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oxford University, right?
That's the official? Okay. Got it.
I mean, but, you know, they update these dictionaries, you know, because if you go back to the first edition one, that's why they go, you got to read from this edition of the Oxford Dictionary of, you know, whatever, 19 or whatever's, you know?
Yeah.
Because they update them and they erase things and they control the narrative, and that's what it's always been. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me give you a breakdown of what the manifest destiny is, right? Before you go to manifest destiny, you have to first understand doctrine of discovery. Doctrine of discovery was written by Pope Nicholas. It was a document given to sailors, mercenaries, murderers, thieves, rapists, who had ships, and said, but as long as you have this paper, and as long as they're not following the Christian thing, then this is what goes.
Yeah, your actions are justified.
Your actions are justified.
It says right here, the doctrine of discovery is a legal and religious concept that has been used for centuries to justify Christian colonial conquest. It advanced the idea that European peoples' culture and religion were superior to all others.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly right.
So now, it's coming from a source of individuals who collectively gathered from the Roman era. I'll let you do the math. You got to do the math. When you do the math, you'll figure it out. But I'm giving you the clues. I'm giving you the numbers. Put them together. Right? It says a religious document. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's what it said, right?
Right?
Religious document,
right? Now, let's go back to manifest destiny. Because they said, in the name of what? God. Boom. connection. So manifest destiny is another regurgitation of doctrine of discovery, given permission by a religious sector that was written by a pope named Nicholas V.
Here's apparently the simple term. The doctrine of discovery refers to a principle in public international law under which when a nation discovers land, it directly acquires rights on that land.
Okay, but
that is vicious.
We were here already, so you did not discover shit. Period.
But they're playing by their own set of rules. See?
Understood.
They're saying if you ain't following this Christ, then you ain't down.
True.
That's what
at least to that time. To that time.
Yeah.
We're talking about that time. We're not talking about now. Now is a different time. So, but yes, that's the road, right? The road came from where? Where did Manifest Destiny? Who gave it the green light?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who gave Manifest Destiny the green light? The religious sector.
Their opinion of God.
Yes.
Their opinion of God that said that it was okay for them to take from others.
Right.
Because
they discovered. It's the doctrine of discovery. In other words, I'm gonna land there, but if you don't look like me, then I'm discovering this place. You're like a pig. You're like a squirrel. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying with that document. You weren't a human. Mm-hmm. You were not a human.
Yeah, you don't. The rules don't apply to you.
Yes, this landowning, degrees, all that shit really does not apply to you. You may have them, but it does not apply to you. You are a pig. You are an ant, a roach, a monkey, a horse, a mule, a cow.
Cash cow?
Yeah, that's what you are to them.
A number.
Right. That's what you are to them. That's what when you follow the doctrine of discovery, when you go, oh, I have a social security card and I'm a citizen, you're following the rules of doctrine of discovery.
You're their property.
Yes. Absolutely.
You're property of the U.S.
Absolutely.
You make money for them.
Exactly. You will work and give 50% of what you work to them.
Every week.
Every week.
Taxes.
Every week. Doctrine of discovery.
You've been discovered.
Yeah, we found you.
Now pay up.
Right? We found you. Just like they found that region of Mother Earth where lots of people were at for thousands and thousands of years.
You know, last week, Daniel brought up something kind of cool. I didn't know Christopher Columbus, that wasn't his real name.
Well,
Cristobal Colon, that's another name. He's got a few aliases.
Right.
Cristobal Colon.
That's a good.
I mean, it's in a different language, you know. But that's a good point that you're bringing up is how they erase the narrative. Now it's going to be like it's kind of like Jesus Christ, right? That's not his name.
Nope.
Jesus Christ is not his name. His name is Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Right? And even that can be challenged or because we're talking about things that happened 2,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like 2,000 years ago? Come on, dude. Okay, what happened 100 years ago? Okay, let's go back 200 years. Yeah. What happened 200 years? What happened 300 years ago? What happened 375 years ago?
Damn.
It starts to go very thin, and if you don't control the narrative, you could put whatever you want in there. It's kind of like, you know those people that go and research like the time of the Tartarian? Have you heard of that?
No.
There's a civilization prior to what we have now, which was like probably in between the 1000 to 1492. In between that, there's really no written anything. There was not a printing press. There wasn't books. You had to handwrite things. There wasn't no documentation of that time. And what they're saying is that there was a very intelligent time, and then there was a global catastrophe, and then the Romans took over, and that's how the Holy Crusades happened, and that's how the narrative got controlled. But there are old, like they're saying that the tunnels of New York were made way longer before 1904. They're just taking credit for the architecture that was already there.
Okay,
prior.
so there was a prior civilization,
Right.
that was smarter than us now.
What happened was that everything is evolving, and they used to have, and this is my theory. My theory is this. My theory is that back in those times, they used to have these things called the World Fair. And that's where people from all over the globe will come with their technology and share for a certain amount of time. And people from all over the regions would come and they would go, oh, wow, that's a bicycle. I've never seen that before. I want to buy that, or I want to make that, or I want to. And I feel like rich people or elite people started buying up things, technologies, right? And owning patents. And that's how the patent thing happened, right? Where they're like if someone invents a new fuel that you only put one tank of gas for the rest of the life of the car, right? Sometimes the gas company will come and buy your technology and shelf it.
Yeah, we've heard of that.
Right? Well, that's the same thing I think happened with the World Fair, is that people with money
I see what you're
would
saying.
come in and then start buying up this technology like, oh, wow, because people invent things.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the World Fair was a way for government to steal your ideas?
And,
So you would-
and control and consolidate
So
them.
people with smart and good ideas are going to this World Fair thinking that their shit's gonna blow up, and then they not only do they steal your idea, they fucking kill you too.
But that's what's been happening
It has happened.
since the Roman time. That's what's been happening. It's the same thing. It's just more sophisticated. Now they're wearing a top hat, and I'm talking.
So now we're talking about stealing knowledge.
Think of it like this. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about in terms of the World Fair. But just kind of think of more technologies around that.
Yeah.
Tesla already invented a way to get energy from the atmosphere, but Edison said, "What the fuck are you talking about? We made fucking 100 miles of fucking wire. What are we gonna do with the fucking wire? You can't use that technology. What are you talking about?" And they shelved it.
Yeah.
It's still there. Guess what? It's right here. This is Tesla shit.
But this had to be here in order for certain people to make profit.
Money.
Yeah.
Which is the World Fair. Like, oh yeah, you have that tech. Well, fuck your idea. Sit it down right here. We'll use it some other time. And maybe not for fucking getting to light your lamp, but to fucking communicate to people. That's how they control things. This is just my theory.
By stealing knowledge. No, that makes sense.
But
They've always stole knowledge.
This is my theory, because we would willingly gather, and people would go, "Oh, look, I invented a feed that feeds your cows," and and I invented. There's some old movies that I remember being a kid and watching Channel 5, and those old movies would come out, and it would be like this weird, scene where people with top hats would be selling, this elixir helps this, and this, and that. So a lot of it was nonsense, but some of the technology was actually, and there were brilliant people from that time. Tesla was one of them. His technologies are kind of ruling the world right now, right? But he had a partnership with Edison, right?
Yeah.
And there's still wire that goes. That's how we run electricity now to this day.
Yeah, there's underground cables that go from the U.S. all the way to England.
So that's an example of how I think they monopolized things and how they got very quickly, because now it's corporate. Now it's the same thing as the World Fair, but it's broken off into corporations and they have different explanations of it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, priority one is profit.
Yes.
Make the money, profit. And the second one is control.
Right.
Have control. You control it. So you control the market. You control the people. You control what they eat. You control what they watch.
Exactly. Like say for instance, there's a TV show that's going to come out and compete with another show. Sometimes people will go and buy your show and just not show it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want it to mess up this. This is just business practices, But if we think about how monopolizing things get and how concentrated things get, this is how it happens. Through the belief of someone thinking that you're less than. even though the invention's coming from someone of color. Right? The black people always pointed out, oh, the black people invented the phone and the black people did this and they have the right to do that, and they did. You know? But when we erase the color lines and just be people who invent things, they lose massive amounts of power they can't control anymore. Right? And that's just my very loose opinion in a very loose way. You know, our main strength is to focus in on ourselves and do everything we can to not be in situations like these emotional outbursts that trap us and only get us in jail. And like, here's another example of that. What would be the update of our brothers and sisters that have been in jail for how long already? Like
5 months?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months. No bail. Just whack-ass deals.
It's gonna be 5 months in May.
months.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
I mean, these guys are still in jail. And these are the type of things that get us caught up. I'm not discouraging it, and I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying we need to re-strategize. You know? We can't just jump in the fire. I feel for these guys. I pray for these guys.
Well, one of them's out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one's out.
One got out for not really having a record, but I mean, he's out, but he still has to deal with this trial. It's like,
I think, yeah, but it's a misdemeanor, and I think I think it's probably already over, to be honest.
Oh, really?
It's over, yeah.
But apparently, they're giving like a uniform deal to these people. I mean,
The first deal that came out, I think a month ago or so, it was one of the stipulations was that either they all take the deal or no one takes the deal.
wow.
Which means that all 7 had to
Face
agree.
the same time.
No.
Oh.
Everyone had their own separate times.
Okay.
But it was one deal it was a package deal.
Okay.
So
Right.
And
you're taking this and you're taking that and you're taking
it's a package deal. So if all 7 didn't sign off on that package deal, then that package deal gets pulled back.
Yeah.
Even though you may have agreed, maybe your other guy didn't. So what ended up happening is someone didn't agree to the first deal. So the DA, the district attorney, pulled it back.
Wow.
And then they had court date, I think last month, and they're gonna have another one soon. So they're gonna go to trial.
How hard is that? How hard is that decision?
To what?
To go, okay, I have to collectively agree to something that, because I'm sure that each one of them feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a hard decision. I can imagine.
Like
Never been in one. But
here's the hard part is I want to get out. They should be out on bail.
Yeah.
Because they're not super violent. I mean, they let child molesters, they let murderers go. I mean, a lot of TikTokers have talked about stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's been known that the type of crime that they're being charged with, they should have gotten bail.
Right.
It looks pretty bad on the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and the DA. It looks really, really bad on them. But they didn't give them bail.
But they're
under the guise of they're a threat to the community.
And
well, what community
house
are we
arrest?
talking about?
House arrest?
Yeah,
How about
there's-
house arrest?
Yeah.
How about house arrest? Can you at least go home and take a shower and feel comfortable and see your children and see your loved ones? Have them come and have dinner with you?
I'm Jory Rand.
No, you got to be in jail because we're going to make a point. And the point
See,
is,
but we were talking about earlier about the encampment if they were brown kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's switch it over to what happened with these guys because they started going after a certain community,
right?
And they're talking. The sheriff's department says that they're a threat to the community, and what I'm saying is that they're leaving the police community. They're leaving the police out of it because what they really mean is they're a threat to police. That's why they don't want them out on the street, because they don't give a fuck about the community, us. They don't give a fuck about the taxpayers. They only went after these guys after they ended up going to mayor's houses and police officers' houses. Then that's when they came after them. So they didn't give a fuck when they were going after other dudes that were harassing street vendors. And they were going to their house, and they didn't give a fuck. But the moment that these people started going to their houses, that's when they got their case started, and now that's where they're at. So that's what I'm talking about. The community they're talking about is themselves. The blue line community. That's who he's referring to. They're a threat to the blue line community.
Makes sense. Well, and what they meant by threat was like them going and protesting in front of their house, and
from
putting
what I
names
saw,
on the
though,
internet.
What I thought was strange is that the person that apparently they attacked, he was Latino. He was Chicano.
Yeah. Which
Oh,
one?
really?
Which one?
The
guy
one that got
busted
punched.
for?
Yeah.
Oh, the one in the parking lot up. That happened in Victorville, I believe.
Yes, I believe. Yeah.
And he was a Chicano?
Yeah, it was a brown dude. Him and his wife or girlfriend. Yeah.
And they were like, opposite side, or why did that happen?
Well, according to what they're saying is that the protesters were protesting down the street, and this car was trying to get out, and they were frustrated that the protesters were in front, so they started honking at the protesters. And you can see it on the video. There's a couple protesters that stopped, turned around, and put their signs in front of them, and that only enraged the driver and the passenger, and the passenger got out of the car, and he confronted them, and supposedly hands were put by the dude that got out the car. He touched someone without consent, and fool started getting mad, and shit hit the fan after that.
Right. And that's what I mean about the whirlwind of emotion,
And lack of knowledge.
Right.
Lack of knowledge is the reason why these fools have no control of their emotions.
Right. Right. And or creativity. Because it doesn't have to be the same thing over and over again. And if we look back in the span of time, we look at the Vietnam War, what was it? Protest, violence, right? We look at another war, almost every war that we've had has been people opposing it. It's just weird that we're in 2024 and we're still kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, history keeps repeating itself.
Right? They like to do that. They like to keep you in a time where it's like 1960, where people are fighting for rights, and then they go and they sacrifice a lot of their, bodies, and a lot of the people like.
Is that live right now?
This is one of the latest videos here.
It's not live?
No.
There's a lot of live videos going on right now.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
But this is the idea of this type of things. Let's get the smartest people to get so emotional that we can swoop in on them and then agitate them and then take them to jail. This is what happened to AIM, the American Indian Movement. This is what eliminated Mumia Abu-Jamal,
the Black Panther,
from the Black Panther movement. All these things happen because they purposely agitate you. And then we get emotionally knee-jerk reaction and put up fists and get rocks and get sticks or we'll barricade ourselves and take the chingazos and say, oh, it's cool, we can withstand this. But nobody gets creative. We have to get creative. Creativity, more creativity, more creativity, more time, more time. That's how we solve problems. We don't solve problems by hurting other people and destroying things. That's what unhealthy people do.
Yeah. You got to have self-control.
Right. Good people with good intent will gather together and be humble with each other and feed off of each other's ideas and creativity and understanding and love. Because at the end of the day, we want no one to get hit on the head.
Of course.
But we want to make our point. But I don't want to have to jump into the fire to make a point. there's strategic ways to deal with it. And that's the stories that I learned in Mexico when the Huicholes were defending their land. It was just amazing how their perspective was towards it. And guess what? I'm not saying the problem was solved, but things got done. Things got shifted to where it needed to get shifted because we are following Mother Earth, not us, not the other way around. Just, we got to remember that.
This is live right here.
Well,
So you got the crew again? The crew.
they're back.
They're back. Wait, those are
Well,
two,
it seems
those-
like they're getting along.
There's 2 flags there. Wait a minute. Is that live right now?
Yep.
So these guys, the Pro Ls, they just show up whenever they want, or they're always there.
No, what ended up happening, there was a big call out on Instagram earlier today. All today, actually, about that, students need help, So there's a lot of people there who are probably just legal observers or people who are there to support peace. So hopefully they're just there to make sure no violence happens.
Damn, this lady is still on TV, man. I remember her as a kid. Christine Divine.
That's right.
But they're pushing that whole anti-Israel, the anti-Israel protesters.
Look at the big rat.
Where's this at?
That USC. Oh, no, this is Hollywood right
Hollywood Boulevard, yeah.
Let's hear what the people have to say. I'm interested in what like the interviews were like.
What?
Who would they pick? Like who did they pick and what did they say?
We're all plants, homie.
Organizers of the march say
Even that
Hollywood
black girl?
was the perfect setting, given the success of last summer's strikes. It resulted in labor gains for union members. Did you feel it? An earthquake with a magnitude 4.1 struck today in the.
I did feel the earthquake, though.
Did you?
I actually did.
Know
I
it was an earthquake.
chilling in my apartment, and out of nowhere, the whole apartment building just shook.
Corona area of Riverside County.
Corona.
Not be allowed in the United States.
Oh, shit.
Cops in riot gear.
LAPD, CHP, Sheriff's Department, and of course Campus Police. At some point, they will move to try to take control of this situation. Now, the
This is happening
encampment
right
has been
now?
declared
Yep, live.
unlawful, as Chelsea reported. Students have been urged to leave or face being arrested. All they've been urged to do so, but again, standing their ground. Some of our security saw that they were prepared. Almost like a war. They saw that they had water bottles. They were putting cement in the water.
This is all going down at UCLA because from what they say, it's a public campus instead of a private campus. So people can just walk up in there.
Arrived, and they're behind this crowd, and of course that is starting to have that's starting to be a problem here, because that will be another situation that law enforcement will have to control because of those fights. But all afternoon, this is the group that has been. We are in support of the students who started the encampment, and they are absolutely not in support of law enforcement. They have been booing them. They have been saying all kinds of awful things to those officers. And we have tried repeatedly to speak with them, to get their side of the situation. Tell us why it's important for you to be here. Tell us what this means to you. Why is this encampment important? What's the message? And they absolutely will not speak to us.
Yeah, of course, because the media, they're just so delusional. Like you said, Zero, we know the reason why this is all going down. They're killing women and children right now.
And raping them. This is Nazi Germany.
What's your cause, really? Like, they
What's
don't
your
know.
cause?
Like, they don't know.
Like, exactly. Like, that's okay.
Let's just defend the Zionist Jewish Israel state.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Blindly, so that they can go 20 years later, they go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I was that. I can't believe I was that confused at UCLA on why these people are here, right?
Shame on you, Fox.
Exactly. You don't know the humanitarian effort that people want to have. People are willing to die to get food to people there. Like, you need to be like a crazy mercenary to get food there. Don't act stupid. This is Nazi Germany. Don't act stupid. And no one should be threatened. Nobody should be threatened by that. When you rape women, when you kill children, when you humiliate people, and when you starve them, that's something you got to call it. You got to call it what it is, man. It's Nazi Germany. It's Nazi
Genocide.
Germany. Dude, it's genocide, man.
You know what? And they're broadcasting it throughout the world, right? So they can't deny what's going on. The world has seen this worldwide. Everyone has seen what's going on in Palestine, right? So they can't deny it.
Well, they were trying to monetize it at first because they tried to take out TikTok. They were trying to take out TikTok because it was a
form of communication.
Yeah, people were communicating, showing videos of what was going on.
Or getting videos to people who can. You know, it's not that simple. You know, these people are being annihilated. For whatever reason, people are getting annihilated, and it's happening during our lifetime. We're gonna be the generation that talks about this. Right? Except there's gonna be no giving of land to these people. They're not going to go, oh, you know what, we fucked up. Here you go. That's what they did with, you know, I have a crazy theory about that as well. But, you know, I'll keep that for another show. You know, that one can go in deep.
What's this?
This one we're going to play before we head out because I think this is probably the most relevant thing that's going down right now. Let's take a peek at this.
Over a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continue. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's still planning to invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah, despite calls for restraint from Western allies, including the United States.
We have concerns about that, and we want to talk and discuss and continue having those conversations about what their potential plan might look like.
More than 1 million Palestinians, most of whom fled other parts of Gaza, are sheltering in Rafah. But so are some of the terror group's operatives. Speaking with families of hostages taken by Hamas, Netanyahu said the idea that we will stop the war before achieving all of its goals is out of the question. We will enter Rafah and we will eliminate Hamas's battalions there.
If we're going to try to save the lives of those in Rafah, then they need to be putting pressure on Hamas to lay down their arms and quit fighting.
Later today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken will arrive in Israel, where he'll continue to push for a ceasefire and more humanitarian aid in Gaza.
In this moment, the only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas.
Hamas.
How they say Hamas.
Wow.
So there it is. Netanyahu, he doesn't care what's going on, what's going down. They're going to continue with the invasion of Rafah. And I think that's what the whole protest is all about. They're just going to finish them off, right?
And the world is just watching. Stand by watching.
You see how these kids just always looking up in the sky, just at any moment, those bombs could just drop on them.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's, I mean, I couldn't even imagine that kind of reality. You know, but prayers go out to them. You know, any human that suffers that is, I don't know, man. I just don't have words for that.
And the thought that they were planning to shut down communications before anything shows that they were willing to just sweep them under the rug and not even talk about them anymore.
But the response from we're going in there. What are you talking about? We're not gonna stop until these people lay there. But I haven't seen no like armies. Like, what is it that they're talking about? You know, that would justify tanks rolling in. Like everybody's going, there's a bunch of people there with no guns, but the tanks are just rolling over them and just fuck it. Who cares? We're looking for the Hamas people. Where are they? That guy right there. Fucking let's kill 5,000 people on the way there.
So any man of age, young man that may or may not look like the part, they're all targets. So they're trying to eliminate all the men.
Supposedly until they get 34 hostages back, but I mean, how do you value over 30,000 people have lost their lives.
For
Are these
For
hostages even alive yet? It's been like what, 6 months now, right?
Yeah, it's been about 6 months. They recently dropped a video of one of them. He was missing like an arm and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, dropping these shits like their albums once a year or what?
I mean, and here's where we get confused because we start going, well, I'm down for the Raiders and I'm down for the Chargers. This is the same thing. We're bred to get into these altercations because we pick sides. We already have a habit of picking sides.
It's a human nature.
It's critical thinking, my bros. This is critical thinking. This is critical thinking, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to drop Global Pandemic. I mean, I have a nice hot song coming through, and I'm gonna drop a song that just really feels like we really need to get to a place where we go above racism. We go above because there's no races. There's just people and humans. Stop thinking that way. There's just humans and races. I mean, I'm sorry. There's just humans. There's no races. It's just humans. There's people. If we can get to that level, then someone in need of help will go to their. That's what's happening. You know, the protests are just not well executed because, and the only reason I say that they're not well executed is because people are getting hurt. And very dangerous people are going in there to sweep the rug. It's almost like they're just, like we're getting stuck in flypaper. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. And then the police come and they just remove the flypaper and put a new piece.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel. When we do stuff like that, where it results, and the only reason I'm not saying that the protest is bad, I'm saying going to jail is bad. I'm saying getting a broken nose is bad. I'm saying getting a broken head is bad. I'm saying fucking losing your job is bad. I'm saying fucking, you know?
Well, the homie Al Dog says, I don't side with either one, not my people's fight.
Exactly.
Do you feel the same way, Joe?
I think I'm opposed to all war. I'm opposed to that we have the wrong perspective, that Mother Earth isn't big enough for all of us. There's a Wu-Tang song, I think the RZA says that how much the mileage of the earth is. And we still have homeless kind of stuff going on. Like, we're going to get to a point where people are going to supersede the control of 13 families. That's what's happening. It's that just that these 13 families have gobs and gobs and gobs of money that will convince poorer people to put uniforms on, get weapons, and go against people who are innocent because they get paid enough to do it.
Wow, our viewership is at an all-time high right now. It seems like everyone's just chilling. You know, it's 10:20 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys like the video, share it, comment, and, you know, tell your homies. Let's gather the LA natives. This is the channel. It's such an honor that you guys are watching, listening. Sky, great show. Zero,
and being
great
a part
show.
of the community, and being a part of this community, man. You know,
the chat is lit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everyone who shared their emotion. Shared their thoughts.
Carla Cruz, Sarpana, Word List, HK.
Nice. Shout out HK.
Al Dog.
HK is the brother that took me out to Vancouver. So
Ironhide.
Yes, absolutely.
SOT.
Yes. So, like I said, you know, I'm gonna make some announcements at the end of this podcast. You know, but first, so you got any last words, Mr. Sky?
I just really want to give a prayer and love to all those people out there in Palestine, Israel, everyone just that's conflicted, you know. LA natives, we just try to bring clarity to people. So we want to keep that message of clarity and peace amongst people and not to get caught in this division. As mentioned before, we're all one human race, so it's important to keep that message.
Man, I have hope when things like that come out of a young individual's mouth like that. you know, it's very it's humbling, you know. What about you, bro? You got anything to say?
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you guys for having me again. Appreciate you guys
Thank you for coming out.
You have good info.
Thank you, Mando. You too, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. You know, our audience loves you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate that. What would I say right now? I mean,
I'm not saying any last words. You know, we got a community that we consistently engage with, and you know, you're on the show every now and then.
Let me ask you, what would you tell the protesters right now if they're in front of you right now?
Which ones?
The pro-Palestinian side.
The pro-Palestinian, they're in front of me? Wow. I believe in your cause. And just like Zero said, man, just play it smart, man. Play it smart. Like there's you have to strategize, you have to plan, you know, you have to organize, you have to get your shit together. And it seems like they are. I'm not saying that they're not, but I'm just saying to remain calm and hopefully they're successful in their what they're looking for.
Okay,
right?
So Zero, what would you tell the pro-Israeli side right now?
You know, nothing justifies the murder of people. Does that mean I don't want you to have land? No, that does not mean that. It means that there's no justification for murdering children. And I know you're hurt that someone of your race or someone that you perceived close to you is damaged or kidnapped or in danger. But death is never the answer for that, especially the death of children, especially the death of women. When you hear stories of rape, as an indigenous survivor of genocide, you feel it in your bones. You don't forget that. So please be wise about how you defend or what you think you're defending, because it comes with repercussions that last hundreds of years for your people, the people that you so-called love. The people of Germany are still feeling the repercussions of Hitler's decision. And some will take pride and some will try to run with that narrative. But the truth is, there is never a justification for raping women and murdering children. That's what I would say.
So how do you feel about the U.S., the country that we live in, just approving $50 billion, not just million, $50 billion, and they're sending it off to Ukraine and Israel?
I think they're desperate. I think they're desperate because...
Isn't that an insane amount of money?
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
If you really think about it, right? $50 billion?
But think of a poker player. Think of a poker player.
It's a bet, right?
That's the way I would view
Sounds like
that.
an investment to me.
That's
An
what
investment. They know what they're doing.
No, but they're like putting it all in. They're going, it's all in. Here you go.
When you ask anybody just
they got
walking
more.
around, like, yo, why are they sending that money? Right?
Because they're betting that the things will get taken care of that's on the agenda.
They're betting that they're going to build a Disneyland over there, right?
Well, more than that, apparently there's a canal that they're trying to build through that region, but there's people that live on that land. So there's a canal that's going to control interests for all the players in the world.
It's like a Zeus canal, but there's already a canal right there, right?
I'm not sure if there is already one, but
Zeus canal, it goes through. I think it passes by Egypt and what is the Yemen or what?
They're trying to connect that canal to some part of that region or area. Okay. That's what they're doing. Is that I guess maybe Egypt controls that, but if they had their own canal, then they can control whatever passes through there, the oil, the whatever resources that. At least that's what I've heard, and it sounds more like you got to think. It's not about a government's ideology or a defense of anything. It's all business.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah. They say it themselves. Nothing personal. It's just business.
Just business. We've all heard that before.
Right? It's nothing personal. It's just business. That's what it sounds like to me. You know, get the fuck off the land. Nah, we
actually. It's 95 billion. I was off by 40 billion.
Holy
fuck it. Just add another zero to that, right? Who gives a fuck?
Holy fuck. Holy fuck! But see, that to me,
Of your money.
Of our tax.
but that to me is like it's some poker guy, fucking desperate and sweating and going, damn man, I'm gonna bet all my fucking fuck it, here you go, all in, you know. Because if that shit backfires, there's no recovery for it. There's no recovery for that.
No,
Provide $61 billion to help Ukraine.
Bill is passed.
After months of delays in GOP infighting, the U.S. House voting Saturday to provide $95 billion to allies abroad, a major win for the White House and Speaker Mike Johnson. In a rare move, Democrats crossing the aisle to help Republicans clear a series of foreign assistance bills. The package would provide $61 billion to help Ukraine fight Russia, $26 billion for Israel just days after Iran attacked the Jewish nation, and $8 billion for the Indo-Pacific, where the rise of China has national security experts worried. A fourth bill bans TikTok if its Chinese owner doesn't divest and changes some foreign assistance into a loan, an idea first floated by former President Donald Trump.
If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating. This afternoon, the House acted and we sent over to the Senate, and it will be transmitted shortly.
The vote landing Speaker Mike Johnson in trouble with some in his own party, particularly those who remain skeptical of helping Ukraine.
Shame on the American government. And our military and our government should care about protecting the national security of the United States of America and the Americans that pay their hard-earned tax dollars to fund all of this.
Supporters, however, arguing that the package protects national security in the long run.
If you want peace, give the Ukrainians the strength to stop Putin.
On Saturday, Senate leaders unveiling a...
Oh, I think that's the most ridiculous statement. There's no way they could beat Putin, man. This guy is just he has a whole entire country with like 10 times as many
that guy
of a
right
population,
now,
right? Like he's
that guy that just said that statement right now. I bet you he's got stocks in weapons manufacturing here in LA or in the US. That's why it's in his best interest that the US sends more weapons over there because they're probably stocks that he owns. You know what I'm saying?
On top of the...
So there it is, 95 billion.
And it doesn't surprise me, man. Like, actually, I did get a little surprised. 95 billion, bro. Like, what could that do if they said, hey, we're going to just invest 95 billion in the United States? Whatever that is.
You don't want to create smart citizens. You don't want to do that.
Exactly. It's man, you don't have words for things like that. 95 billion to murder people. That's heavy. That's super heavy. And I can understand why people will go to a campus and feel like if they sat there long enough, things would change.
Or at least get someone's attention.
Right. But I feel like, you know, Reyes Tijerina, he was an amazing man, and he said this one quote that really kind of changed my perspective on dealing with issues of this nature. He said, I want to be a tick in a lion's ear. I want to be so far in that ear that it's driving him crazy. Because he really wants to take me out. But he can't reach me. Because I'm really embedded inside of his ear.
So that's what you want to be.
I think that's what we should strive to be. There's not that many of them. And we can be those ticks in that ear. What he meant was, I'm going to be as intelligent as I can. I'm going to be as strategic as I can. I'm going to do what I can. Because all it takes is one little tick to destroy a lion. Because he can't reach it. Day and night, it's going to bug him. We'll see you next Wednesday.